Second day. What second day? Milk food. Yep. Yeah, this is my second day of headache. Are you ready, Jay? Oh, you son of a gun. You son of a gun. I wish you would tell me beforehand. Damn it. All right. All right, guys. Welcome to Cooking with Danie. South African dishes. We're doing a dish called milk food, and it's spelled MILKFOOD, milk food. The ingredients that you're going to need is all-purpose flour or a bread flour. You can use all-purpose. I find works the best. You're going to use some butter. I always love to use country stock. You want to use original butter as far as you can. If you have your own preference, feel free to do that. You're going to need 1 liter of milk. Now, guys, you can use your own milk preference. I use commonly vitamin D whole milk. You can use the 2% milk. You can use whatever you want, I guess. If you make it for the first time, I would recommend that you use either whole milk or a 2% or a 1% milk instead of using almond milk, because almond will change the taste in the food. And then you're going to use 1 tablespoon of salt, and you're going to use a 1.5 cups of flour. This will roughly cook for about 2 to 3 people. And then my milk is already on the stove. I got 1 liter of milk that will combine with the flour and the salt and the butter. And then you're going to bring that to boil, which you're going to see here in a little bit. And then we serve it with cinnamon sugar. So I'm going to start. I've got the milk on the stove. Let me see if I can do this right. Jay, we'll see if I can do this the correct way. I'll flip it. Camera flip. There we go. All right. So I got the milk on the stove. I'm going to bring that to a boil. You do not want to burn the milk, and then I'm going to take, while we bring that to a boil, I'm going to bring my flour over here. So I've got my measured cup of 1.5 cup of flour with salt already mixed in. I'm going to empty that in the bowl. And then I'm going to 15 milliliters. So let me see. 15 is 1 tablespoon of butter. I always use a little bit extra just to, I don't know, I just like the creaminess of it. And it makes it, put that in there. And then you're literally gonna take your hands, make sure your hands are clean. You washed it beforehand. But you're literally gonna just squish it around and let the flour and the butter go through your fingers as you squish it around. Make sure you do a thorough mix. That way the butter gets spread evenly in the dish with the flour. You're just going to keep doing that until you can feel the butter is completely worked through the flour. As you can see that I'm doing that, see? Obviously, the more people you cook it for, the more butter you're going to use. So this will be a lot more to work with. But you want to make sure you mix it thoroughly, guys, because if you don't, it's not gonna cook the way you want it to cook when it's cooking. See, it's getting all nice and fluffy with the butter in between. And you already got your salt in here. I have questions after the show, sir. Okay, sounds good, D. Sounds good. For those who just joined, you are cooking with Danie. It's a South African dish. This dish is well known for a winter dish. It's a custom dish. It's called milk food, MILKFOOD, milk food. In Afrikaans, it's called melkos. Yes, Jasmine, you do. And you'll see why am I doing this when we put it in the milk. The recipe will be on the video after the show. Jay will put it on a YouTube video, and you can get the recipes in there if you want. You can hit me up with the recipes too. You can see the flour, how the flour and the butter has been sitting in my hands. So you know it's totally mixed. All right, so we'll let that sit for a little bit. I'll wash my hands quick. Get that clean. What's up, Dupi? This dish is a warm dish. You cannot serve it cold. You can overnight it if you want. If you have some leftovers, you cannot go beyond 1 day. So if you're not finished it today and you put it in the fridge for overnight, you have to eat it the next day. Otherwise, you might as well just throw it away. Because of the milk and the flour. So you want to be really cautious not to ruin it or waste it. In South Africa, you make a dish like that, it does not last. It does not last very long. All right. So I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of a background on this food while we're waiting for the milk to cook. Make sure it's on high. There we go. Is there any questions so far, guys? See. So mine's detailed. I'll wait. You're heating the milk or on high heat. Yes, you have to in order to get it to a boil. And then as soon as you put the flour in, you'll see we'll bring the heat down. So melkos or milk food is a traditional South African dish made from sugar, flour, butter, and milk, flavored with cinnamon. This is a basic, smooth version made with flour and milk. Maybe someday, hello, big hello. Let me see here quick. So the recipe is a traditionally Afrikaans creamy, milky, cinnamony concoction. it's often passed down from a long line of grandparents and parents. It's been around in South Africa as a traditional dish since 1968. So it's been coming for a long time. And back then they only had whole milk. They did not have like watered milk like what we have today, like the 1% milk or the 2% milk. I call it water milk because that's just what it is. I like my whole milk, thank you. And to this day, I still drink whole milk. The best way or the best flavor that you get from this food is if you can get it from a dairy farm, fresh from the dairy farm, not being produced by a dairy farm that takes out all the natural ingredients of milk. So yeah, it's been around for years. Very easy to make, very traditional for the winners, and it's something to get used to, especially if you're not used to stuff like this. I can give you a little bit of a cost involved in this. So for like 3 people or 4 people even, it would literally cost you about, I'd say about $15 for about 4 people of making this. It's a very, very easy dish to make. China, I've never done that, but obviously people is gonna do their own thing, whatever they feel like putting in with it. You can if you want, I think. I've never done it that way. We've always kept it traditional, and traditional means by putting just the flour in the milk. Now, guys, while we're waiting for the milk to cook, you can mix your own cinnamon and sugar if you want. And all you're going to do is you're going to use 1 cup of sugar, and you're going to use about 3 to 5 teaspoons of cinnamon powder. And you all know the cinnamon powder. It's called ground cinnamon. This is from Clover F Valley. This is kind of the common spices I use from them. And you'll just mix the two together. You can also buy them ready-made, also from Clover Valley. It's called cinnamon sugar, and that's pretty much what we want, right? So you can buy them pre-made, or you can make them yourself. They'll still come out about $15 for amount of people of 4 serving this dish. Very, very, very easy. You can get cinnamon sugar together. Yes, you can. Mustang. So I'm waiting for the milk to cook. A big pot like that, it takes a while, but you'll see what, Ray? It's only starting to steam now. You can see the steam coming off it. So it'll cook you in a little bit. Is there any questions so far? For somebody that just joined, all the new people that just joined, you are cooking with Danie. I'm making South African dishes. This will be a regular thing on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Tonight's dish is called milk food or milk course, like in South Africa. You need flour, you need butter, you need milk, preferably whole milk or 2% milk. You can pick your choice. You need cinnamon sugar. You can either get it pre-made or buy it pre-made, or you can mix it yourself by just adding a cup of sugar, white sugar, mixed with 3 to 5 teaspoons of cinnamon powder. If it's not cinnamon enough for you, you can add more cinnamon. It's all up to you. And what we did was we took the flour and we took the flour and we put the salt in there. We mixed them together, and while we mixed it, we also put butter. And the common butter that I normally use is country stock. I love this butter just because it's so original and creamy. And it works well with a lot of baking stuff. And then once you mix that butter in with the flour, you pretty much use your hands. Do not use a spatula or or a whisk, just use your hands and make sure the butter goes in throughout the whole flour. And then once it's mixed, you'll get, it will look like this. Lucky, lucky, lucky. This is what it looks like. It still looks like flour, but we got butter mixed in it, so it's nice and fluffy. That's exactly the texture you want once you've mixed it in. Otherwise, if you don't do it, then you'll ruin the dish. It will not come out the way you want to do. So we are bringing the milk to a boil. Once the milk is to a boil, we'll turn down the heat to about medium. We'll mix that flour mix in there, and you're just going to start stirring it. It cooks for about 15 minutes, guys, on medium heat, but you want to keep stirring it. It's going to make small little lumps. Don't worry about the lumps, getting them out, because that's part of the dish. You want that small little lumps in there. The 15 minutes is how long it actually cooks. I got my notes ready. Good. At least somebody's taking notes. I saw maybe somebody took some notes too. Good job. Good job, guys. Good job. So I'm going to rerun the ingredients. I'm rerunning the ingredients. You need flour. You need butter. You need salt. You need milk, preferably a whole milk or 2% milk. You need cinnamon sugar, already pre-made, or you can make it yourself. And by making it yourself, you need white sugar and you need cinnamon. And preferably, you're going to mix 1 cup of sugar with about 3 to 5 teaspoons of cinnamon. If you wanted more cinnamon taste, you can add more cinnamon. For this, I made it for 2 people. So for 2 people, the ingredients would have been 150 milliliters of, or equivalent to 1.5 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1.5 tablespoon of butter, and you're going to mix those 3 ingredients together, and you're going to get this, like what I just showed you before. And you preferably mix this by hand. Do not use a whisk or anything. Just mix it by hand, and you bray it through your hands like that the whole time until it's thoroughly mixed through. Once you've done that, you start cooking your milk. And once the milk is cooked, you're going to throw that in there, and you're going to keep stirring it with a whisk like this. And you're going to stir it for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then let it sit and simmer for about 5 on medium heat. But you want to keep an eye on it. You do not want to burn it. That's the only problem with milk. Everybody knows milk can burn very quickly if you don't watch it. And then once it's done, we'll put it in a dish after 15 minutes and put some cinnamon sugar over it, and it's ready to eat. Very simple. It's a well-known South African traditional dish for the winter time. There's another one I can make, which we will do probably in a couple of weeks, is the traditional South African pancakes. And there's a few ways of making that, and a few ways you can serve pancakes. Not the same as what they have over here. It's totally different. The way to explain it is like crepes. You guys all aware of what crepes looks like? Pancakes in South Africa looks the same way. They just made it a little bit different. I'm making milk food, Starduster. Milk food. It's a South African traditional winter dish. And the milk is coming to a boil. I can see the bubbles. We'll give it about another 5 minutes or so. And then we'll start mixing in the flour. And we'll start cooking. I can't wait. As well, in the near future, I think next week, I'm going to select somebody to cook with me in the box. I'll give you the ingredients, and you're going to cook with me. And then you will be the taster to tell me if you like the food or you don't. So that would be a lot of fun. I'm thinking of doing that every second week by inviting a special guest in to help us cook. I think that would be fun. Wouldn't it, Jay? We'll test some people some cooking skills. Come on, it's fun. It's fun. These dishes are so easy to make. They so easy to make. You'll see how simple this one is. Very, very, very simple. It's funny how I mentioned that, and then everybody starts running away, and it's like, no, I don't want to do that. All right, the milk is coming to a nice boil. Look here, let me show you guys. You can see the bubbles in there. It's already forming. You know how milk is cooking, then it forms a little skin on top. So it's cooking. It's ready to start. See the little skin? And I normally, before I put the flour in here, if there's too much of that skin, I'll usually remove it, just because. A very simple dish to make. So it's cooking. It should be ready in the next 2 minutes. Is there any questions so far, guys? Any questions so far? You could, no, Kitty, no, I don't. Keep it PG. Keep the comments PG, please. This is a recorded show, so let's keep it PG. Okay. So it should be ready in the next minute or so. 5 strikes, Kitty. 5 strikes. Yep, it's recorded. Sarah Haller. At least it's only 5. All right. For those who just joined, I'm going to recap quickly. It's a cooking show with Danie. Welcome. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to run through the ingredients quick, and then the milk should be ready so we can start making the milk food. The dish I'm making is milk food, well known in South Africa as a traditional winner dish. Been around since 1968. Been passed down from generation to generations. This food is commonly just used for wintertime. I don't care. I mean, I'll eat it year round. I don't care. So the ingredients you're going to need is flour. You're going to need butter. You're going to need salt. And you're going to need milk, preferably whole milk or 2% or 1% milk. And you're going to use cinnamon sugar. I commonly use for 2 to 3 people. I will use 150 milliliters of, or 1.5 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, and then a tablespoon of butter that I mix inside with the flour like I did over here. Make it nice and crumbly. Make sure the butter is mixed thoroughly through the flour and the salt. And then you bring your milk to boil like it's doing right now. You can see all the bubbles are forming on top of the milk. So it's getting close. Once the milk is to a full boil, you're going to turn the heat down and you're going to put that flour mix inside and you're going to stir it with a spatula. And then, or a whisk, sorry, my bad, whisk. You're going to keep stirring it for about 10 minutes. The whole dish cooks about 15 minutes before it's ready. Cinnamon sugar, you can either buy the ready-made ones that says cinnamon sugar on it from Clover Valley, or you can mix your own by using a cup of sugar and about 3 to 5 teaspoons of salt, cinnamon. If you wanted more cinnamon taste, you can add more cinnamon to it. The recipe of this dish will be on the website with the video of the cooking show. So if you guys want to log into YouTube and get Emoji Jay's details, he will have the video posted on YouTube with the recipe. If you want the recipe from me, feel free. I'm on Instagram. It's in my bio. You can add me on Instagram and I'll give you the recipe there too. I'm also going to look at next week. I'm going to have a special guest that's going to cook with me. That way we can have a person to actually taste it and tell me what they think. So, having said that, the milk is boiling. Let's give it another minute or so. All right. Yes, special guest. People that come to my stream. I'll select somebody. Or if you want to volunteer, then you can. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sprinkle the flour in here. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to stir it. And you want to throw little bit by little bit in, guys. You do not want to throw the whole lump sum in there. You see, I throw just a little bit by little bit in. Make sure this is going inside in the milk. Because if you put it in too much, it's going to make one ball, and you don't want that. You want it to mix with the milk nice and thoroughly. You can see how the milk is thickening the more I add it. Can you see the little clumps it forms? You can see the little clumps. And that's exactly what you want. You want that little clumps in there. You don't want any big ones in there. And the clumps should be about, I'd say about 1/4 inch of clumps all around. So we're going to stir that. I'm going to bring the heat down to a medium. Ooh, yummy. I can already smell it. Jamin is not here. No, I haven't been able to taste since I had 19 last year. Well, that sucks. Can you guys see what I'll bring it a little bit closer, but you can see the little lumps in there. You see the little lumps? It's got little lumps in there. That's exactly what you want. Is those little lumps. And you just keep stirring it like that. You see how it's cooking. See how it's plopping? You know it's cooking. And I got it on a medium heat. So we'll let it sit for about 3 minutes or so, then we'll stir it again. There we go. Looks pretty simple, doesn't it? You can make a white sauce that way, just use less flour. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Keep it PG. So we'll let that sit for a little bit. But you can see how it's cooking. You see that? Ugh. Yummy, 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 yum, yum. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So guys, if you just joined my stream, just a quick recap on what we're doing. Welcome to Danie Cooking Show, where we're doing traditional South African dishes. Tonight's dish is what we call milk food or milk course, as they pronounce it in South Africa, you are needing the following ingredients. You need flour, you need butter, you need salt, you need cinnamon sugar, and then you need butter. And the ingredients that I use is, I use an all-purpose flour. You can use any brand you want. You can use any butter, as long as it's butter. You get margarine and you get butter. Do not get the two mixed up. You want to use butter. I commonly use country store original butter. Then you use salt. And you're also going to need cinnamon sugar. You can get them pre-made or you can make your own. Very simple to make. You're going to need some whole milk or 2% or 1% milk. For 2 to 3 people, you're going to use 1 liter of milk that you're going to put in a pot and you're going to bring it to boil. You're going to use flour. You're going to need about a cup and a half of flour, a teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon or tablespoon and a half of butter. And you're going to keep mixing the 3 ingredients together until the milk is fully boiled. As soon as the milk is fully boiled, then you're going to stir it into the milk while it's cooking. Bring the milk to a medium heat and keep stirring it until it's nice and thick and clumpy. Super girl alert. What's the question, D? You can make a dish for 2 to 3 people with this, what I just showed you, for $15. That's what it's going to cost to make it. Very easy. And very quick to make too. It literally takes 15 minutes. Can you use any style of milk, for example, almond? You can. I've never made it with almond milk or oat milk. That's your preference. You can if you want. I just don't know how that's going to affect the flavor with your final dish. For us as South Africans, we always use the whole milk or 1% or 2%. I mean, you can try it. You can try it. I'm not going to say you can't. I just don't know what the flavor is going to do. You might like it. I don't know. So yeah, we'll see how this is turning out. We got this cooking knife. You can see the little clumps in here. See, guys? You see the clumps? Oh, it smells delicious. You want to make sure that your heat is not too high, otherwise it will start burning, and you do not want it to burn, guys. It ruins the flavor, the final product flavor. That this is just enough for Danie. That's a little bit more than enough for me. I'm probably going to have some left over. You can, guys, again, you can put it over for overnight in the fridge, but you have to eat it the next day. You cannot let it sit for longer than a day. Like you said, this is the amount for 2 to 3 people. Well, not everybody eats big bowls, right? Stick to your ribs kind of meal. Yes. Yeah. You get this will fill you up very quickly. A small bowl will fill you up very quickly, but I can easily feed 3 people off this. Just what I made here, I can feed 3 people. And there might be a leftover for somebody. It's not that much though, right? Honestly, it's not that much. You can. I mean, I never did it with apples. Personally, I won't put apples in there. I mean, you can do what you want. Everybody's going to have their own preference. I'm just showing you the traditional way how we make it and how we eat it. Whatever you do after this show, you can do what you want. You can add what you want. I mean, this food is not always for everybody. You know what I mean? Some people might not like it with the whole milk. They will use almond milk, or they will use oat milk, or they will use. So you can also use, because there's a lot of people that can do whole milk. There are a gluten-free milk too that I believe that they can use. A spoonful of you, a spoonful for her, rest is mine. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good to me. I would put a sliced apple with cinnamon in oven and mix it in when done. You can do that too. You can do what you want. All right, so we got about 5 minutes of this sitting here still, and then we can serve it. You can see how nicely those small little clumps in there. Then you know you've done the right job. You just mixed it right. So we'll set it for another 5 minutes or so. You know what's tasty? You take a pear, slice it in half, and scoop and seed out. Put cream cheese. Ooh. That sounds yummy too. Okay. For those who just joined, again, welcome to Danie Cooking Show, doing traditional South African dishes that you commonly not find here in the US. Tonight's meal, we made milk food. It's called MILKFOOD, or well known in South Africa as melk kos, MELK The ingredients for this food is flour, butter, salt, milk, and then cinnamon sugar. You can either make the cinnamon sugar yourself by adding 1 cup of sugar, white sugar, and 3 to 5 teaspoons of cinnamon. You can add more cinnamon if you wanted more cinnamony. I commonly like a little bit more cinnamon, so I'll use more cinnamon. The way you mix it for about 2 to 3 people, you'll use a cup and a half of flour, and a teaspoon of salt, and a table and a half spoon of butter, and you're going to mix those 3 ingredients together. Make sure the butter is properly mixed, and you mix it by hand. Don't use a spatula or a whisk to mix it. Mix it by hand, so you braid the butter in with the flour. Once your milk has come to a boil, you'll add that dry mixture inside by stirring it, and you sprinkle the flour into the milk while you're stirring it. And the reason why you do that is you're making sure that the flour is evenly mixed within the milk, and you don't get big lumps. And in this case, the more you stir it, the smaller the lumps and the thicker the milk becomes. And then you have this by having small little lumps in there. And then once it's ready, after about 15 minutes, you can serve it with cinnamon sugar like we just said. Yes, you can't have too much cinnamon either. So that's pretty much what we are cooking right now. And you can see it's looking delicious. I'm going to give it one more stir. Again, you don't want to do it on high heat. After your milk is boiled, you want to turn the heat down. That way it does not burn. And you just keep stirring it with the whisk. You can see the small little clumps. I love that. Love that. All right. As they say, the proof is in the pudding. So you guys ready to taste? Here Ugh, yummy. Yummy, 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 yum, yum, yum. And I'll turn the heat down a little bit more. That way it does not burn. And then we will add cinnamon sugar on it. And like I said, you can buy them pre-made. It's called Clover Valley cinnamon sugar. And you literally sprinkle it on top. And obviously, you don't have to use a lot. Depends on how sweet you want it. Because you are going to mix it. But that's what it looks like. It's not rice pudding. It is not rice pudding. It's called malkos or milk food. And we are ready to eat. That's what it looks like with the cinnamon sugar on top. You can mix it if you want. I commonly mix it. Oh my God, it's good. Like what I'm doing right now. That way the cinnamon sugar goes in everywhere. That's how we commonly do it in South Africa. We just mix it. And I want to put some more. I'm almost motivated to go make some. There you go. It's very simple to make. I literally showed you. It's literally within 15 minutes and you'll have a dish. And I'll stir it again. Yum, yum. You can actually feel how it warms the body going in. That's why it's a winner dish. Okay. To wrap up, I appreciate you all coming in here. I'm going to give a quick rundown of the recipe again. I'm going to run quickly down the recipe. And like I said, you guys can hit Emoji J up. He'll post it on YouTube with the recipe. If you want the recipe from me, you are more than welcome to get the recipe from me too. Here's the ingredients. You're going to use an all-purpose flour. You're going to use butter, not margarine, butter. You're going to use salt. You're going to use milk. And you're going to use cinnamon sugar, which you can make your own by adding just regular white sugar and cinnamon, and you can mix the two together and as strong as you want it. You're going to, for 2 to 3 people, you're going to use 150 milliliter, which is a cup and a half of flour, a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon spoon of butter, and you're going to mix it by hand. That way it's thoroughly mixed. Once the milk is to boil, you're going to sprinkle the flour mix into the milk by stirring it and bring the milk heat down to a medium. And you keep on stirring until the whole bowl is empty. You let it sit and cook for about 15 minutes by keep on stirring it once in a while to make sure it does not get burned. If it burns, then you want to turn the heat more down. Once it's fully cooked in 15 minutes, you're going to put it in a dish and you're going to sprinkle your cinnamon sugar mix over it, and you're going to mix it so that the cinnamon sugar goes in the whole dish. And you have traditional South African milk food or melkos. Yum, yum. Bon appetit. tastes delicious. I don't know about you guys, but I have my dinner for the night. Next week, we are going to I'm going to select a streamer to get in the box with us next week and help us cook. That way that person can taste the food that we are making and they can see if they like it or not. I think that will be a nice gesture. That way people can tell me whether they do like the food or not. For me, I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for being a part of the show. Hasta la vista, Hakuna Matata. Bye.